Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to Jargon Free Help. If you've got one of these, digital SLR, there is something you've got to look out for, particularly if you've been changing lenses. When you change lenses, it gives dust and other dirt the option to get inside and then rest on top of the sensor. Many of these cameras, when you switch them on, have some sort of device to actually help with that, sort of like vibrates the sensor to shake off any dust, but that will only go so far. And if you've got dust, little dots on your sensor, that could affect the photograph that you're taking, and sometimes they can actually be very noticeable as well. So how do you know whether or not you need to get your sensor cleaned? And by the way, you can get your sensor cleaned at many places such as camera stores, and I tend to make sure I go to a reputable one to do that. You can get sensor cleaning kits, although I've never used any of those myself, to actually clear the dirt off. I prefer the idea of taking it to someone, and also be a little bit careful when you're changing lenses too. Make sure you're not in a dusty environment. I tend to hold the camera down a bit to kind of stop dust getting in, because if I'm obviously doing it this way, then dust could fall on it, so I try not to do things like that. I also try to make sure that I don't have dust on my lenses so that the dust is not getting in there that way as well. But quite honestly, it can't really be helped very much. And there's one way that you can find out. One of them is to actually just get a piece of white paper like this. Make sure you've got it fairly evenly lit, as evenly as possible. Prop it up somewhere, and you probably will need to focus manually on this, so you're going to zoom right in. I set it to a very high f-stop, so you've got a very small aperture. So I'm on f22 here, and I'm just going to focus it up, not that it matters too much, and just take a picture. I might move just a bit just to take another one, and that way if I do see a dot on there, if it's in the same place on another picture when I've moved, then I know that it's something that is possibly on the sensor. The other thing you can do, if you're outside, nice clear blue sky, just take a picture of the sky. Don't point it at the sun, just onto a plain bit of sky. That will also do the trick. So now that you've taken your photograph, what you want to do is get it onto your computer to check it, and it doesn't matter whether it's Windows or a Mac. Just open it up in some picture editor. Here I'm on a Mac and I've loaded it into Preview, and what I want to do is zoom in, and that way I'll be able to see better what's going on. So I'm just going to zoom in here. I do also have Lightroom on here, and you can see actually I'm zooming in, there's something over here. Now I'm just moving around a bit. Now one way I could have checked is to have taken another photograph. If it had appeared here, well, that's probably just one dot I think I've got on this sensor, but that probably needs to be cleared off. That's quite big. If you've got Photoshop or something like that, you could easily get rid of it by just painting it out, but you shouldn't have to do that. I'm just going to switch over to Lightroom, which I have as well, and again I can zoom in to actually have a look, and there you go, you can see it, it's kind of as clear as day. So something really that I need to take care of, especially since I take so many pictures. If it was just a few, that might not be so bad. I'm just changing this on Lightroom here so you can see my controls over here. This one here is the spot removal tool. I'm just going to click on it. Down at the bottom here, I just can't make Lightroom small enough. Just down below here, it actually says visualize spots, and it's actually highlighting it. You can just see how bad it is. Let's just see what happens when I just click. It's gone and removed that spot. So that's fantastic. So that's doing it in Lightroom. I'm going to turn off my visualize spots now, and you can see it's gone. But you shouldn't really have to do that. So just bear in mind that you can actually do this simply with something such as Preview or Microsoft Picture Editor. You just need to zoom in and then scan around, and anything really standing out like that over there you need to deal with. So just make sure you've got a high f-stop, so small aperture. That will help as well. If you do see any dots on there, there's always things like Photoshop for getting rid of them, but taking it and getting it cleaned is a good idea. You're welcome to have a go yourself, although I recommend going to someone and getting it cleaned, a professional that is. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care of these, and happy snapping.